You're listening to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
What is up, everybody? It's Rudy Campos Jr. It is Monday night. It's the Monday Night Delight edition of Sweep the League. How's everybody doing? Quick shout out. Hey, man, it's Monday night. Also, another special leaf kind of night here. We're getting the original flavor today. I love all the flavors, man. Like I said, I've been drinking this for a while now. How about the weight loss and everything? Get yourself a special leaf tea. Shout out to everybody else out there, man. Burger Boy, Lids, La Cocina Taco Truck, the food truck, La Cocina Food Truck here in New Braunfels. Shout out to Mudslingers Coffee. Shout out to Jeff Garcia, Locked On Spurs. We just got a whole lot of people that we got to thank and love out there. So appreciate it. If you guys see a fly rolling around here, this kind of sucks because I have a fly in the office and I can't get it. It's one of those damn summer flies, man, that I just can't get rid of. Hey, man, I shared a comment in the comment here. I posted a comment, Sweep the League TV. That's our YouTube channel. Click on that link. Subscribe. We're trying to get to we're 49 subscribers to get to 50. Let's get up to 100 if we can here. Subscribe to our Sweep the League channel. We've got a bunch of stuff giving away. In fact, we're giving away something this Friday. We're going to be giving away a gift card, so be sure to tune in this Friday. We're probably going to have the Afternoon Delight edition on Friday. We may even have a night edition on Friday. If we have two shows, we're going to give two things away. No big deal. Friday is a fun giveaway, so we do give out away some stuff on Friday for Sweep the League here. What's up, Tim McGow? What's good, Rudy Pudo? Blue Devils, Tar Heels still suck. Yeah, I know, man. I know Tar Heels still suck. You always giving me crap about that stuff too, but nonetheless, man, we've got James Pledger from ESPN Sports Star is going to be with us on Wednesday. So we're going to have him in the on the live stream on Wednesday. Also, we're working on Derek Gervin. You know, he's been out for a little bit. He's going to be probably coming back tomorrow evening for Sweep the League tomorrow. So definitely tune in tomorrow for Sweep the League because we have Derek Gervin coming in tomorrow for right now. But hey, man, I don't want to waste any more time. We got a lot to get into. We got Justin Jefferson getting a massive contract right now when it comes to wide receivers, and that has everybody in questions when it comes up to CeeDee Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys. Is he going to get all that money? Who knows, man? Jerry's going to have to fork over that money sometime soon. Not only that, he's got to also understand that he's got to pay Dak Prescott. He's also got to pay Micah Parsons. A lot of mouths need to be fed in Dallas. So will CeeDee cash in? Will CeeDee hold out? I mean, that's the other question too. Knowing that Jefferson's got this contract extension, will CeeDee Lamb hold out until he gets paid his money? We're going to look at that here in a little bit. Also, SEC predictions when it comes to college football. Texas. I've been saying I've had Texas favored in the SEC for a while now, even ahead of Georgia. Georgia's been dominant, as we all know, in the SEC. There's still going to be a playoff team. I think the SEC is going to get two teams in the playoffs. Right now, I feel it's going to be Texas and Georgia going into the college football playoffs next year. But I think Texas is the better team. They have the most talented roster coming in. I'm going to let y'all know where we're going over the schedule. So I'm going to let y'all know exactly where I feel Texas is going to end schedule-wise when it comes to their first season in the SEC. I saw the comments with Paul Finnbaum's show about I can't remember his name, but he was saying that the Texas A&M Aggies are going to have a better record and finish better than the Texas Longhorns. I don't see that at all. Also, nonetheless, the Caden Clark issue, I'm not going to get so much into what happened today, but we'll go ahead and get into the play itself with Kennedy Carter. Again, it's you're going to get my a little bit on that as well. I mean, game's a game. That's all I can really say when it comes to, and also NBA Finals talk. We'll get into the predictions here for the NBA Finals. I've been kind of giving y'all lately what I've been feeling about Boston and Dallas. We're going to dive into a little bit more here, but nonetheless, let's get into a little bit of talk here. So normally we like to start with, obviously Spurs talk and all that, but I'm going to start a little bit different here. Recently, we wanted to give a shout out here to Sweep the League, from Sweep the League to our former home, which was the Alamo City Podcast Network. I was tagged in it, so I'll mention it here. They hit up to 900 subscribers on their YouTube page, so definitely a good thing for those guys. Congratulations out there to everybody at the Alamo City Podcast Network. They're They're hardworking guys, so always, go and support them. But yes, I had a couple of people DM me on this subject, so I will just let it out. We are not a part of the Album City Podcast Network anymore, so we'll just leave it at that. And we wish them the best of luck and continue to support them and everybody else on the San Antonio Podcast Network as well. There's a lot of great podcasts out there. Subscribe to all the channels, man. Support everybody. We're here to support everybody, as many people as we can as well. So shout out to those guys as well. Nonetheless, man, let's go to break it down real quick. We'll break it down into some NBA talk here, NBA Finals here on Sweep the League. Yeah, Tim's always wanted to talk some wrestling here, so we'll talk some wrestling in a little bit. Tim, I gotta see who actually I can get on the show when it comes to wrestling. I don't follow it as much as I used to back in the day. I wasn't part of the NWO times and all that, and I haven't really followed much. But I'm kind of watching it a little bit more. I did see this past WrestleMania. I actually really, really liked this past WrestleMania. Nonetheless, we got Boston and Dallas starting this Thursday here. Now, there's so many storylines. You have Kyrie going up against Boston, former team, stomping on the Celtics logo. Boston fans have not forgiven Kyrie for that as well. You also have Kristaps Porzingis. He's coming back from injury, but also he's a former Maverick. So got some good storylines there. You have the great scoring duo of Kyrie and Luka going against a great defensive duo in Derek White and Drew Holiday. Derek Urban has shouted out to Drew Holiday as well, saying he's one of the top defenders when it comes to being a guard at the guard position. So it's almost like, what is it, the immovable object type of saying, but I'm picking Boston at 6. I picked Boston at the beginning of the season before the season started to win this championship. I think the Drew Holiday trade was huge, was massive for the Boston Celtics. It's showing right now. I believe they only lost 2 games in the playoffs. I expect this whole series to go minimum 6 games. I'm taking Boston in 6. If it goes 7, it's almost a toss-up there. Dallas has every opportunity to go into Boston and steal one of these 2 games. They have a great opportunity to do that. I feel like Dallas has the edge when it comes to the front court. I really do. I think if you're looking at Porzingis, you're looking at Al Horford on one side of the ball. I like more of Dallas's front court when it comes to like Gafford, PJ Washington, Derek Lively. Lively's going to be huge, I think, in this series. I think he's going to do a lot of good for the Dallas Mavericks. It's going to keep him in a lot of games. Ultimately, to me, there's more. You could say firepower, but I think there's more balance when it comes to the Boston Celtics over the Mavericks. Why? Because I have yet to mention 2 guys, and that's their 2 superstars, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I believe, Derek White and Drew Holiday are going to play really, really, really stellar defense on Luka and Kyrie. One of those guys is going to go off. It's probably going to be Luka, but one of those guys is going to go off in each game. They just got to contain one of them. If you want to allow Luka to have 30, 40 points in the game, if you can contain Kyrie and keep him, below the 20-point mark, that's going to be really, really good for the Boston Celtics. You're going to allow Tatum and Jaylen Brown to do their thing. But not only that, once Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they don't have to be relied on the entire time. That's why you have a guy like Derek White. Derek White is going to be the focal point for me in this series. You're talking about a guy that can go both, he can do both sides of the ball. He can play both sides of the ball. He can do he can put up 20 points, maybe, 25, even if he has to put up 30 in a game, whilst trying to, put lockdown D when it comes to playing either Kyrie or playing, against Luka. So Derek White to me is the focal point. I think Drew Holiday is going to be fantastic on the defensive end. They're not going to really ask a whole lot of him from the on the offensive side. But if they do, hey, Drew Holiday is completely capable of putting up, some good numbers on the offensive side. But for me, key to the victory for the Boston Celtics, 100% is Derek White, 100% Derek White. I think he's going to have a really, really good series. I'm expecting it, actually. He's going to play off the ball a lot on the offensive side with Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They're going to be able to get to the basket. You can see a lot of kickouts to Derek White. I believe he's going to have a really good series, in my opinion, here. For Dallas, the key to Dallas winning this title over Boston, it's hard for me. I mentioned earlier, a little while ago, that Derek Lively is the key, and that's going to be the key for me. If Derek Lively can be disruptive for guys like Porzingis, can be disruptive for guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, kind of similar to what you saw in the Minnesota series. You saw Karl Anthony Towns not play stellar basketball. You know, he did a lot of pump fakes when Lively was in there. He was almost not, I mean, I don't use the word scared, but he was timid. You know, he played, you know, he didn't get the shots that he wanted to. It was difficult for him to score. But also look at the other side, you know, with Anthony Edwards. You saw Anthony Edwards starting to just rely on a jump shot. Now, yes, Tatum and Brown can't shoot the ball, but if these guys are not aggressive and it's because of Derek Lively, then we can possibly see the Mavericks coming out on top when it comes to the NBA Finals. So for me, the key to victory on the Dallas side, the player to watch is Derek Lively. Can he be disruptive the same way that he was in that Minnesota series? So key for Boston, player to watch, Derek White. For me, on the Dallas side, it's going to be Derek Lively. Funny, Derek, right? Derek and Derek on both sides there. Those are my keys to each team winning the NBA title. Now, Luka and Kyrie's going to have a series. Let's be real. It's revenge time. It's payback in his opinion, in his mind. So I feel Kyrie's going to have a pretty good series. Luka's probably going to have a really, really good series. I just don't think it's enough. I think the defense that Boston plays in the backcourt to go along with the scoring, the 1-2 punch they have of Tatum and Brown, especially if you get a healthy Kristaps Porzingis back, that's just a lot for Dallas to overcome. Again, that's why they play the games. Could be wrong. No big deal. It happens. This is Rudy Campos Jr. This is Sweep the League. It's the Monday Night Delight edition of Sweep the League. Appreciate everybody joining in. Let's get to some of the comments here. JC's in here. Yo, go Mavs. Texas team support rules. That looks fun to root for. I'm going green, but just like green, man, especially if the original, I'm going with the Boston green here. So give me the Boston Celtics in 6, like I've been saying, man. Thank you, JC, for coming on. Leha, what's good, gents? Meet your money's Sagala Bolsita. I ain't watching the final. Someone tell me who wins. We'll definitely let you know, Leha, who wins the NBA Finals. I'll post it for you. I'll shoot you a text message when the show's over and Boston ends up winning in 6. Sorry, I'm late, guys, watching fireworks outside. Fireworks outside. Is it 4th of July already? I don't think it's 4th of July just yet, but thanks for joining in, man. Spurs win. Leha, Spurs win. Damn, you really, he's a former Duke Blue Devil, man, but he's in the NBA, so I let it go now 100%. Jacob, what fireworks they are popping off? Exactly. We don't know what fireworks they are. Hey, I did post something in the chat for those of you guys in there in the chat and those of y'all watching the stream. We have our YouTube channel. It's in the chat. It's pinned up. Should be pinned up to the top. So just go to the link, click that link, man. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're giving away stuff starting this Friday, so be sure to tune into the Friday edition, the Friday afternoon delight edition of Sweep the League. We might even be going the evening show as well. So we might have 2 shows, but either way, we're going to give away some stuff that day anyway. Rudy says, what's Vegas say? I don't know what Vegas says quite yet, but we'll look it up and we'll have it on for tomorrow's show to give you guys the odds. But if Vegas listens, they're going to listen to me, right? I mean, of course, I'm Kid Vegas when it comes to stuff like that. But again, Boston in 6 for me, guys. It's going to be Boston in 6, no doubt about it. If you guys have predictions, be sure to leave your predictions in the chat. Rudy Campos Jr., this is Sweep the League. We'll be right back here in just a second, guys.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Thanks, George Gervin, for the shout out. Be sure to go follow Cheryl Lynn as well on Instagram. Great supporter of Sweep the League. Also, George Gervin, the Iceman himself. Thanks for the shout out for Sweep the League here. So, coming back in, we did talk a little about the Boston Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks. We'll get more into it when we get Derek Gervin on here. He's going to give you his opinion and who he feels is going to win the NBA Finals this season. Nonetheless, let's get into some football, guys. Let's get into some football here because we got Justin Jefferson news. How does that affect the Cowboys? Let's get into some of this football talk here. So Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings, signs a 4-year, $140 million deal. So $110 million of that is guaranteed. Obviously, 30 is going to be part of the incentives here. Where does that leave a guy like CeeDee Lamb? So it's kind of tough to say here. Now, we all know that, Jerry is waiting, and a lot of people say, hey, Jerry, you're going to have to pay up for CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, he's going to have to pay up for CeeDee Lamb. But does he need to start him right away? The only way he signs CeeDee Lamb right away, I feel, is probably going to be if CeeDee holds out. The chances of CeeDee holding out, possibly, I would say, I'm going to say probably 65% chance that he's going to hold out until he gets that contract. Look, he needs a contract extension. He wants to get paid. He wants to get that guarantee in case, hey, injuries do happen in the NFL. So I understand where CeeDee Lamb's coming from. He decides to hold out. Does Jerry pay him? That's the issue. Knowing you're going to have to end up paying Dak Prescott if Dak has another good year, knowing you're going to have to pay Michael Parsons, who's obviously the anchor on the defensive side for you, is he going to be able to afford, to pay CeeDee Lamb as well? There's 3 guys that he's got to pay right there. Out of the 3, Cowboy fans are probably looking at Dak Prescott as being the odd man out, saying, hey, if we have to let somebody go, let him walk because it's not worth the money. It's going to be probably Dak Prescott in the Cowboys fans' eyes. Do get it. No bueno for the Cowboys. We got comments in here. We got EJ in here. No bueno for the Cowboys. Justin Jefferson said, bring me my money. Definitely crazy amount for Jeff. Isn't that 34 million each for the next 3 years? It is. So it's 110 million guaranteed money. I could go up to 140 with incentives, but nonetheless, the Justin Jefferson deal, it's a historic deal, especially for a wide receiver. Very historic deal. Is Justin Jefferson worth it? Arguably he is the best wide receiver in football. So yeah, now quarterback wise, you're probably going to think that's not a good amount for Justin Jefferson because how about the quarterback play? Kirk Cousins is there. He's in Atlanta. So what does Minnesota do? Well, that's really Minnesota's problem. If you're looking at the Cowboys standpoint, Jerry's sitting back and he's thinking, what do we pay CD? Is CD worth $140 million? Cowboy fans, drop your comments in the comment section. Is CD Lamb worth $140 million? Let's say is he worth $115 million, guaranteed money? So is he going to get paid more? Is he going to get paid less? For me, CD has been productive. He's been very productive. His numbers have gone up, and Dak Prescott and him have a great repertoire between each other. They have a great they're a great combination. So I feel CeeDee Lamb is worth that kind of money. But at what expense? Are you going to be able to sign Michael Parsons to the deal that he wants? You're going to be stronghold when it comes to this money. When it comes to money, you're going to have to restructure probably some deals here. You're going to hope that Michael Parsons takes a little bit less. Maybe, who knows? I feel one of these guys is going to be gone, and like I said, most Cowboy fans are going to think it's Dak Prescott. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm looking more and more here at the whole Dak Prescott situation, and I keep looking at it, and I keep looking at it. He's had a lot of, success in Dallas. And like I've mentioned before, is Dak the problem? Science points to yes, but also you can make a case for no. You can't. You went in and got the offensive line. The offensive line is taken care of. Cool. That's taken care of. You still have a number 1 wideout. Good. You have Brandon Cooks as well. Number 2 wideout. Your tight end position is pretty solidified. Your running back position, that's the part that's going to be a killer for you. Zeke Elliott's not going to put up, crazy old school Zeke numbers. He's not going to be eating much this year. That's for damn sure. It's going to fall back on Dak Prescott a lot. But do you pay Dak Prescott along with CeeDee Lamb and along with Michael Parsons. That is the absolute 100% question in Dallas. And then also, when does CD get paid? Are we going to see CD get paid sometime this week? Look at what JJ does with the quarterback he has. He has had. The Cowboys are effed. They can't pay Dak, Lamb, and Parsons. Agree, like to me, like I said, you're going to pay 2 out of the 3. Odd man out is probably going to be Dak Prescott. I mean, he's a leader of a team. And for me personally, if it's odd man out, it sucks that I say this, but if it's odd man out, I'm probably leaving Micah Parsons out. I have said it before, you're not going to find another quarterback when it comes to Dak Prescott. And it's not anytime soon. A lot of these big names are not going to be free agents anytime soon. I think it was 2027 could be the earliest, but not until 2029 are a lot of these big name guys going to be free agents. So you look at CeeDee Lamb, you need a playmaker. If you're going to keep Dak Prescott, you need a playmaker. Now, the wide receiver position is easy fillable. It's an easy fillable position, and you can replace that very easily, especially through the draft. But, man, it's tough. For me personally, I'm almost certain that I would say, okay, I can let my best defensive player go, and I can use money to sign 2 quality pass rushers. Maybe one is a veteran that is on the backside of his career. One is a guy who is a young guy. I can go out and draft another, defensive end. I can go get it through the draft. But for me, Micah Parsons is probably the guy that I would have to say, okay, I'm going to have to part ways with you and keep Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. That's just me. That's my own personal opinion. I know a lot of people may say Dak needs to go. Dak's the problem. But look at the numbers that Dak has put up. I mean, he's been successful. Has he been Troy Aikman successful? No, he's not brought any Super Bowls. He hasn't, not Roger Staubach. He hasn't brought any Super Bowls. Has he been Tony Romo successful? I mean, you could say the numbers are there. I mean, you can say they are comparable. So, yeah, I mean, you can say they are comparable. So where are you going to find another quarterback like Dak Prescott to at least not necessarily get you to the promised land, but to give you the opportunity to get to the promised land? Pay the other 2 and leave Dak out. See, that's what I'm saying. Dak's going to be the odd man out when it comes to this kind of talk. What's up, Seth? How you doing, man? Let Dak walk. Lance has been killing it in the offseason. The whole Trey Lance thing, man, it's tough because Trey couldn't – it's weird because Kyle Shanahan, and he's not a quarterback whisperer by all means, but you've seen a lot of success with quarterbacks in a Kyle Shanahan ran offense. Trey couldn't get it done. It was so bad that you brought in Brock Purdy, Mr. Relevant himself, and he's the starting QB. That shows you the confidence they did not have in Trey Lance, and they just gave Trey away. They didn't want him in a Niners uniform anymore. So to say that Lance has been killing it in the offseason, it's the offseason, man. It's practices, it's OTAs. Don't put a lot of eggs in that basket just yet. There's reasons why other teams didn't trade for Trey Lance. There's a reason why the Niners don't want Trey Lance and didn't want Trey Lance. He's a backup, and I don't see him being any more than a backup. And if he is, hey, I'm wrong, and I'm going to be wrong more times than not. But I just do not see Trey Lance as being that guy. And Dak Prescott is a guy that has to stay. Besides that, Cooper Rush, we've seen Cooper Rush play. Again, Cooper Rush is not starting QB material. I love Cooper Rush. There was a time I wanted Cooper Rush in Atlanta, but I know Cooper Rush is not a starting quarterback. Just the same way I know Trey Lance is not a starting quarterback. Dak Prescott is the only guy right now for the Cowboys, and he should be the one guy for the Cowboys for the foreseeable future. Parsons to the Texans. Book it. Man, I have no idea, but if there is a team out there that definitely would make a run, it probably is Houston. 100%, 2 generational talents and a decent quarterback. Parsons, you can consider Parsons a generational talent. I agree with that. You can. I mean, he's He gets to the quarterback. He's quick. He makes plays, but you can find other receivers. Are they in ones? I mean, sometimes it takes a couple of years for a receiver to get acclimated to the NFL and he finds his niche and boom, he's gone. Then it happens right away. Sometimes they just don't work out. But I think you can find another receiver and another, defensive end, another, hybrid linebacker. You can find those guys, I think, a lot quicker than you can a quarterback. So if you want to keep Parsons, then you may want to let Lamb walk and go find yourself another number one. To me, out of the three guys, I think Dak is the most important guy for the Cowboys. Can't believe I'm talking about Cowboys, but again, I'm a Cowboy fan by marriage, because if not, then that's divorce right there for me. Parsons is Philly friendly, so he'll want to go that way. Again, other teams are going to benefit from Parsons, but let's go back. The three guys, Dak, Parsons, and Lamb, out of those three, for me, it's Parsons that I would let walk. But I wouldn't be shocked if CD was the guy that let walk either. You can find one of those positions in the draft or somewhere. And if you're going to pay $110 million for a receiver, you can probably go get two viable receivers and give yourself a nice receiving core. That's the other option. So that's where I kind of feel it is. D'Lo is in here. I feel like we are just a solid team that can't get past a second and stuck there until we completely rebuild, retool. Reminds me a lot of the San Antonio Spurs from back in the day. Dominant teams, 50-plus wins, get to the playoffs, and they were bounced in the first round by the Warriors, led by Chris Mullin and Mitch Richmond and all these guys. Or they get to the second round, and they're bounced by the Utah Jazz. Or, it reminds me of those Spurs teams. Good enough to be considered contenders. I mean, let's be honest. They are good enough to be contenders, and they could have been contenders if not for the Rod Strickland pass, but we won't get into that anytime soon. But they were just above average, below. They would fail in the playoffs. Not meet expectations in the playoffs, have high hopes going into the playoffs, but it would just come up short. That's kind of where the Cowboys are falling in right now. They're in the what would you call it? Man. I mean, they're in the medium. They're not mediocre. They're just right in the middle of the pack, basically. They're right in the middle of the pack. So I would say that if you want to rebuild, let people walk. Do it through the draft. If you want to make a trade, I'm sure you can get some pretty good draft picks for a guy like CeeDee Lamb. I'm sure you could get some pretty good draft picks for Micah Parsons if you decide to do a trade. You're not having to worry about spending that kind of money. You can also get some good young core players in return for some of these guys. I don't think you'll ever get a Herschel Walker type of deal for either guy. I mean, that was just the great train robbery from the great trade robbery is what Jimmy called it from back end. But I think that you can, if you want to rebuild, definitely rebuild. I have no problems with seeing the Cowboys just rebuild and reload for the future. I mean, if you're stuck in that mediocre thing, you're not good enough to win the title, but you're not bad enough to suck in the NFL and get some high draft picks. Where are you left? I mean, you've got to in other words, if you're on the edge of greatness and just completely terrible, you're going to have to get kicked on either side of the fence. You can't stay on the fence forever. You've got to make a move similar to what a lot of people think the Spurs need to do. Great question, or great comment, Dealer. Appreciate you joining in here. Trading both and really go on the next 2 or 3 years. That's what I just mentioned. I mean, you could possibly trade both of these guys, keep Dak, get all these guys, CD traded, Micah traded, get some draft picks in here, do the rebuild, start the retool process, see where it lands. I mean, you've got some great talent coming up in the 2025 draft. I'm actually working on getting one of my NFL mock draft guys here to talk for 2025 draft so we can maybe look into the future a little bit here. I know we haven't even started the 2024 season, but it's never too early to look at who the prospects are coming out there. But yeah, it's definitely a trade in there. Trey broke his leg. No, that's why they rocked with Purdy. Lance was overthinking everything after he came back. I say give this kid a chance. By all means, we need Lamb. Seth, again, it's the fact of who do you keep? Is it CD? Is it Micah Parsons? I've said it earlier. I'm one for letting Micah Parsons walk, and if you're going to let him walk, just trade him, get something for him. But if you don't have anybody that's willing to trade for him, and they just going to wait for the free agent market, which let's be honest, a talent like Micah Parsons, if he is on the trade block, then you're going to get a lot of teams a lot of teams are not going to wait till he becomes a free agent and you let him walk. A lot of teams are going to want him now. Why? Because he can help you win now. And not only that, you could be outbid when it comes to free agency. So you want the guarantee you're going to trade for him. That's a good problem for the Cowboys to have. You're thinking, I've got to pay 3 players. I know I'm probably going to have to pay Dak. If I'm going to pay CD, I'm going to have to let one walk. That person being Micah. It's a huge loss. Don't get me wrong. If you trade Lamb, if you trade Micah, it's a massive loss for the Dallas Cowboys. But it's got to happen. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, as like they say. And that's something that's going to have to give. And that's similar, like I said, the Spurs situation. If you want to win now, you're going to have to give up something. And I mean, if you want some of these massive stars to come to San Antonio, then you might have to trade. You might have to give up a Sohan. You might have to give up a Vassell, these 2025 picks that are valuable and they're gold. One of them is probably going to have to go. So you're going to have to give a lot of your assets to get players to help you win now. But is it a true win now situation? That is remains to be seen. But going back to Cowboy talk, the Justin Jefferson deal, it sets the bar and it raises the bar for wide receivers and contracts and such. But nonetheless, will CD get paid? I think out of the 2 guys who were mentioning, Micah and CD, I think CD is definitely the guy who I would pay. And if I have to move on from Micah, I definitely have to move on from Micah. Off subject, that Footloose vinyl is dope. Yeah, so that's actually a puzzle, Sith. A puzzle that my wife and I worked on. We do a lot of puzzles, as you can tell. So that's actually a puzzle. We actually have the Breakfast Club and Back to the Future. So hopefully we can get those done here pretty soon. I'll be hanging all this up on the wall. They did make mention that my wall is bare, so I'm going to have to definitely get a lot of the wall filled in hopefully soon here. Cracking open a special leaf tea. Definitely get your special leaf tea today, guys. Let's get some more of the comments here before we move on. That's why I say the Texans getting him. They say, let's do this now. They made moves this last year in the offseason. The Texans are 100% in, man. I love the Jets coming out of the AFC, but the more I look at stuff daily, the more I'm really studying a lot of these teams. The Texans are climbing so far up. I mean, are they Super Bowl contenders? I think so. I think we can definitely see them being massive Super Bowl contenders with every move that they made. They can be right there in the thick of things. And the man himself is in here, James Pledger. The cap is going up again like he did last year. Netflix money and Austrian money will kick in. That's what I'm waiting to see as well. How much of the cap is going to go up, Pledge? How much is it going to affect the NFL, the teams in the NFL? If it goes up a whole lot, then let's not worry about anything because you're going to see, Lamb getting paid, Micah getting paid, obviously Dak getting paid. So we got to see where this money comes up. We got to see how much it goes up, where the cap goes in. Pledge is in here, 100% pledges. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, I did talk to Pledge a little while ago before the show started. We're looking to get Pledge in here on Wednesday night. So get ready for James Pledger, part of ESPN SA. ESPN Sports Star SA coming up on Wednesday. We're going to talk Texans and whatever else comes up. It's always a good time with Pledge, so be sure to catch Pledge here on Wednesday night show of Sweep the League. If Parson goes, who would be a good draft pick for the Cowboys? We'll have to look into the 2025. I've got a couple of mock draft people coming in here, so we'll look at mock draft people. We'll ask the defensive questions. We'll look at everything like that when it comes to the 2025 draft for them. Pledger already ordering Super Bowl tickets for the next few years. 100% he's ordering Super Bowl tickets for the next few years. In fact, I think he is the first in line to order Super Bowl tickets for this year for the Houston Texans, as, again, barring any type of injuries or anything like that, the Houston Texans, they are locked and loaded for this season. Last year was a great season for the Texans. I'm expecting the way we've seen the Detroit Lions in the NFC creep their way and make their way up to, all the way up to the NFC title game last season. It's the same thing for the Texans. They are on that strong path to the Super Bowl. So could we see a Lions-Texans Super Bowl this season? I've got the Lions already. Their tickets already punched for me in the NFC. So I like the Lions coming up on the NFC side. I think the AFC is kind of wide open right now with the Texans, Baltimore, the Jets. Barring that they all stay injury free. We can never rule out Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the AFC is going to be massively good this year. There's going to be some good football in the AFC this season. Players with the laughing emojis. He's going to go watch the Chiefs get the three-peat. I don't know, man. I'm getting Texan Chiefs tickets at Arrowhead this year. That's going to be a fun game, man. We're talking NFL football here. Everybody in the chat, appreciate everybody joining me. We're sitting at 157 people on the live stream. Much love, everybody. Appreciate you joining me here. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit more NFL. Also, we'll talk about the whole Caden Clark issue. Where do I stand on that? A couple people have asked me. Well, we'll break it down here for you just a little bit. This is Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. Be right back.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League. Subscribe and share.
Rudy Campos Jr. here from Sweep the League. Hey, make sure you go and follow Sherilyn on Instagram. Just search official Sherilyn on.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Welcome back to Sweep the League. It's Rudy Campos Jr. It is the Monday Night Delight edition of Sweep the League. Appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody participating. Love you guys. Again, we're giving away a lot of stuff. We're going to give away a couple of gift cards on Friday. We're probably going to do the Friday night, the afternoon delight edition of Sweep the League on Friday. It'll probably be myself and Coach Gio. Also, we'll probably be coming to you Friday night as well for a quick Sweep the League show. We'll be giving away a couple of gift cards that day. So be sure to tune in. We've got everything from Mudslingers, Burger Boy. I mean, hell, I don't even live in San Antonio no more, but I know Burger Boy is still the place to go for hamburgers and everything like that, especially the loaded fries. Mudslingers coffee, man. We're going to give away some Mudslinger stuff. Not only that, lids. Everybody loves their lids. You got to rock the hats. And yes, I'm wearing a Blue Jay hat, but I've got a whole backstory on the Blue Jays thing. Cito Gaston, former manager of the Blue Jays, San Antonio ties, man. I mean, you got to support everybody San Antonio, right? Not only you got lids, but hey, La Cocina Food Truck here in New Braunfels, another partner with Sweep the League here. And also, hey, if you guys need some body work for your car, man, let me give a shout out here. I sponsor Sweep the League from back in the day, and a great supporter of Sweep the League, United Collision Care Center. You want to contact Luis out there? Hey, man, he does repairs for all the local stars, all the way from Spurs to radio guys. So if you need anything done with your car, if you're in an accident, contact Luis, man. He'll hook you up right away. It's United Collision Care Center. And also, we cannot forget the health gurus here, Special Leaf Tea. I'm drinking the original flavored right now, but it's going to be with me every time I'm doing the show here. As much as I have, I got to actually go fill up again on some Special Leaf Sweet Tea. Shout out to JC out there, Special Leaf Sweet Tea. So they're at the bottom there. Definitely we're going to have to update that as well. But hey, I had a question in here from, let's see, No, it wasn't JC. Let's see. We had a Dalvin Cook question here in just a second. Here it is, Seth right here. Quick question. What are your thoughts on Dalvin Cook? He's a free agent. So Dalvin Cook, if you're asking me about Dalvin Cook for the Cowboys, it's a signing what I could definitely see happening. Is he an upgrade over Zeke Elliott? He's quicker to me than Zeke. I think the injury concerns for Dalvin, for me, could play a part in it. We're probably going to end up seeing him getting snagged up here pretty soon. Probably right before preseason starts, you're going to see him picked up somewhere. I don't mind seeing Dalvin Cook in Dallas as all. I think it's actually, in personal opinion, I think it's an upgrade when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott, better guy to catch out of the backfield. For me, he's quick. He's a lot quicker laterally. And I like Dalvin Cook when it comes to the running back position. But again, look at the amount he might command. He may command a little bit more when it comes to salary than what you're paying Zeke. So really, are you going to get a massive upgrade by adding Dalvin Cook to the Cowboys? No, I think you're okay at the running back position. You're probably going to see, like I said, more air raid this year from Dallas. But again, if they do sign Dalvin Cook, not a big deal. I don't see it being a must-have or a must-need right now. So if they do, they do. That's my only opinion on that. So I'm trying to go to the Saints-Chiefs game in Arrowhead. Oh, those Saints, man! I'm going to tell you something right now, Leha. They actually got one of the quarterbacks a quarterback that I wanted in Atlanta. The Michael Penix thing, we're going to talk about that with Pledge on Wednesday, but they actually got Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is a high prospect for me on the quarterback list. I actually had Spencer Rattler number 2 on my quarterback list. Number 1 being Bo Nix, 2 is Spencer Rattler. Then I had Penix at 3. So those are my 3 guys that I wanted to see in Atlanta, which, of course, we got Penix. I just don't like where they drafted Penix. I think 8 was way too high. I think you could have traded down and got Penix a little bit, maybe added a couple more draft picks later on in this draft. But enjoy Spencer Rattler, man. He's going to be competing for the starting job. Whether he wins out or not, I'm not sure. But once he hits the field, watch out. Like how you're gonna love Spencer Rattler. Looked it up. Boston is a -22 favorite to win it all. Well, I mean, Boston's Boston. Boston is going to Boston. Let's raise number 18 in the Raptors. Hopefully I win one of the prizes. I want Lids cards. I see you in a lot of hats. So yes, hopefully you are one that is going to win one of the gift cards. I don't know if we're giving away a Lids gift card this Friday. We'll see. I'm going to have to reach into the bag and see what we have in there. But definitely tune in on Friday shows for the chance to win some gift cards here. Rudy, are we talking college football? Wow, yes, we are going to get to college football. That's going to be the last part of the game. I know you're gigging them. But again, Texas, I think, is the better team when it comes to the Longhorns and the Aggies. We'll see where that stands, JC, and where do I think they land when it comes to SEC football. So what I'm going to do, man, I'm going to bring up the whole Caitlin, if you hear the video, I apologize, but let's see here. So let's get into this Caitlin Clark thing. Now, I'm not getting into what was said today on Pat McAfee show. I'm not worried about anything like that, but what I'm going to do is, of course, we're just going to do the replay on the show here. So obviously, Chicago and Indiana, the whole Caitlin Clark thing here. So you see Caitlin Clark get bodied there. And look, I see opinions from both sides. I see, people, this is not a part of the game. This is terrible. That's not a good look for the WNBA. I see the other side of the fence over here, and they say, well, you know what? You're a rookie. It's tough love. It's tough bats. It's basketball. I mean, it's a pro sport. You have to stay competitive. You have to be competitive. So I get that 100%. I agree with both sides. Is it a black eye on the sport? Nah, I mean, you could call it a black eye on the sport. Is it targeting? Yeah, you could say it's targeting as well on the sport, for the sport of WNBA. But on the other side, you're the number 1 pick. You are the one who's bringing all the eyes to the WNBA. You're bringing in more fans to the WNBA. So with all that being said, and again, this rookie class was very, very talented. I mean, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese. I mean, you got a lot of great players that are going to be lifting the WNBA for the future. I mean, definitely these people are going to these players are going to definitely help the WNBA grow 100%. Do you need stars like Caitlin Clark? Yes. Just like you need stars like Cameron Brink, Angel Reese. You need a lot of these stars for the WNBA to be successful. But also, this is media stuff when it comes to a play like this. It gets everybody talking about the WNBA. Is it right? No. I don't think any cheap shot in any sport is right. But we see cheap shots all the time in the NFL. We see cheap shots all the time. Hey, Draymond. We see that all the time in the NBA. I mean, we see it sometimes in MLB. We see it, and soccer is notorious for it. Cheap shots left and right. It happens in every pro sport. And in these days, it happens even at the high school level. You see it on TikTok. You see it on YouTube, shorts and clips or whatever you want to call them. You see it everywhere. It brings attention to the sport. It gets everybody talking. It gets the left and the right side going back and forth. It gets everybody talking around the water cooler. Again, is it right? It's not right. It's not right. But it's a part of the game. It's a part of the game, man. I mean, this isn't the first time. There was a play in Detroit when the Shock were playing the Sparks, and Candace Parker was a part of it. I can't remember the other girl that was actually there, but it's a part of the game. Now, where is my standing on all this? I have one issue with all of this. One issue with all of this. And before I get into that issue, let's get into here. All media is good media ? We're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's all across the media, So is bad media good media? It is. To me, it is. Everything. We're talking about it. She's a certified yapper and flopper. Everybody, if you're at the pro level, you can ball. You're gonna talk trash. I mean, Larry Bird was one of the biggest trash talkers in the game. Did you think he didn't get cheap shotted? He did. He got a cheap shot every now and then. He even dealt probably a couple of them. This is nothing new. Nothing new to me at all. Really, wait until next year. WNBA class is going to be loaded as well. So that's what I'm hearing too. A lot of WNBA classes, this year, this past draft and next year's draft is going to be loaded as well. So, I mean, we got a lot of great talent coming in. What if Wemby was done, Luke? What if Wemby was done, Luke, that because of the attention he was bringing? Let's see. What if Wemby was done like Caitlin due to the attention he was getting? That's a good question. That's a great question. I mean, you would see the uproar. It would be the uproar. Number one pick, and he's getting pushed around, cheap shot like that. But Pledge, where this is the concern part for me, and he brought it up to teammates, because when you got a cheap shot like that, now, for all means, it was a cheap shot by all means, yes. Was it one to injure Caitlin Clark? It wasn't, super bad, like super hard, but it was a cheap shot. But it's the teammates. So Pledge, if that happened to Wemby, you best damn believe people are going to be running to his side and running to take on whoever it was and get in their face. Make a host think about it. That's defending your star player. What this kind of tells me is, does her Fever teammates believe in Caitlin Clark? Do they feel like she is a member of their team? Why? Because the very first thing that you should do is run your ass to anyone that does this and make a scene, cause an issue. Let them know this is not acceptable. You don't have to say that's our star player. You don't have to say that's the superstar. You don't have to say that's the face of the WNBA, the future of the WNBA. It's one word. Teammate. That's my teammate. Just like the armed forces, you go to war. You go to war with your brothers and sisters. You fight for one another. In the sports world, when you're a team, you fight for each other. You win as a team, you lose as a team, you respect each other. You may not have to like each other, but as long as you're teammates, you hold each other in high regard. You protect them. You protect your teammates, no matter what. Yeah, I've played sports before. I've had teammates I didn't like at all. But I'll be damn sure if I'm not gonna let anybody mess with a teammate. I mean, this is the thing that people need to understand. Forget the play. Who gives a damn about the play? I'm worried about her teammates. Why didn't you stick up for her? Why weren't you there? As one of her teammates, and I'm sorry, I've got to get more acclimated with the WNBA, so that's my fault here. But I am getting more acclimated with it. But as her teammate is walking over to pick her up, there's a smile on her face. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Instead of the smile, give me the dirty look. Go up to her. Say, what in the F are you doing? Back the F off. That's where it needs to be. That's the biggest question. is teammates. Where were her teammates? That's the issue I have. 100% the issue I have is where are the teammates? I'd be just as petty, rank my 30-minute Ice Cube in third. I mean, to be honest, man, she can easily go into Ice Cube's league and just take the money. You're still playing ball. You're you're going to play ball with her for $30 million. I mean, that's a lot more than what she's making in the WNBA. But you know what? I give her credit, Pledge. She's sticking to the WNBA. You know, she's going to stick it out right now. So I'm sure she understands, you know what, I'm a rookie and I'm targeted. But it goes back to a movie, guys, and I'm bringing this movie up right now because it's the exact same thing. Right when I saw this and right kind of when I see other stuff happen to Caitlin Clark, which again, for me as a Caitlin Clark, I'm not a huge fan of Caitlin Clark at all. I was a WNBA fan, and I've been a WNBA fan for a long, long time. I stopped following it for a while there. But I was a massive fan in the beginning with, you know, Cheryl Swoops and Rebecca Lobo, Cynthia Cooper, Teresa Witherspoon. My favorite WNBA player, and shout out to her. If we can get her on the show, I'll be massively starstruck. But my favorite WNBA player was Tisha Penicheiro from the Sacramento Monarchs when she paired up with Yolanda Griffin. So, yeah, I'll go back way back in the day when it comes to the WNBA. Shout out to Tisha Penicheiro. Great player. Another person that I would definitely model my game after was Tisha Penicheiro. But, I mean, going back to, you know, the Caitlin Clark thing, I'm not a huge Caitlin Clark fan. I love her game. It's the new era of basketball that we see in the men's game. The Steph Curry type of plays, you know, step back three from a few feet behind the arc. I mean, this is what we're seeing in the men's game. So it's transitioning over to the women's game now. You know, we've seen it from the likes of Diana Taurasi, from Sue Bird, Sabrina Ionescu is another one. You know, she was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark was Sabrina. So we're seeing it come out more and more and more. And Caitlin is then I've seen it before, not in my words here, but she's that generational talent coming into the WNBA that everybody is, you know, going to be aiming for. We've seen this before on a lot of occasions on other sports as well. We've seen it 100%. But where I see the difference is we're not seeing the teammates. Her teammates come to her aid and help her 100% of the time. You've got to be able to do that. You're never going to be successful in this league if you cannot be a team. And that's any league. You've got to be a team. You may not like each other, but damn it, respect each other. That's what it comes down to when it comes to teammates. You don't have to respect your opponent. You don't have to like your opponent. But when it comes to teammates, respect them. Respect your teammates. You didn't see any of the fewer teammates stand up for Clark. Exactly. Pledge. Everybody's like, that was a good comment, Pledge. Someone trucked Manu on one of Steven Jackson's first games as and he was in everyone's face. Exactly. You've got to go for the protection of your teammates 100%. I remember one game KG hit Tony behind the head and Tim Duncan came to face to face and said, don't do that to my teammate. That's what we're getting at, guys. This is on the WNBA. PGA has already protected Tiger, knowing what he meant to viability and ratings. WNBA needs to do the same. Same for NFL, Brady and Mahomes, NBA with its stars. The league's got to step in, which I think they're going to step in. I mean, we're going to see them step in too for it. But the league can only do so much, Pledge. It's got to be her teammates as well. The league is here. Her teammates need to be right there with the league. If Caitlin Clark is that big star and is going to be the face of the WNBA and everybody's, you know, putting that whole moniker on her where she is the face of the league now, she's going to be gung for. She has a target on her back. So the WNBA needs to protect her, but also her teammates need to protect her as well. It's got to be a two-way street for them. They've got to both do their job. They protect their ratings makers. They do. I mean, whenever Caitlin plays now, we're going to see a lot more people tuning in because are we going to see a similar type of play from another player? It seems like everybody's watching, you know, Caitlin Clark. They want to see her struggle. It's kind of similar to me going into the NFL season when it comes to Caleb Williams. I don't want to see Caleb get hurt, but I feel like he's going to struggle. That's my opinion. But I don't want to see him get hurt. I'll be damned if he's running out of the pocket and he gets blindsided. I sure as hell know a lot of his teammates are going to stick up for him. It's the same thought process. Same thought process. You've got to stick up for your teammates 100%. ESPN are putting a lot more Clark's games on their network. Well, yeah. I mean, look at the draw she brings in. Forget this play. Forget this foul. The draw she's bringing in already is huge for the league. It's massive. You know, and I get it, man. I get it. You know, the women that have been playing WNBA for a while, you know, they're like, well, we've been playing for a while. Where's all this attention now? I get that. I totally get that. But on the instance of Caitlin Clark, teammates, Indiana Fever teammates, show up. You've got to show up. She's your sister in arms here. You know what? You've got to stand up. You got to show up. You cannot allow your opponents to just be this physical with her. And you know what? It's a physical game. It happens. I've played basketball. I've played sports before. It's a physical game. Very physical. Cheap shots are going to happen. You know, Zaza Pachulia is going to happen. Draymond Green kick to the nuts is going to happen. We see things happen. We see cheap shots all the time. The difference is teammates stick up for them, for their teammates. We're not seeing it in this case. Indiana Fever, do better on that. Please, do better on that. Be a team. Be a team. This is Rudy Campos Jr. This is Sweep the League. When we get back, we're going to end the show with some SEC talk. Texas Longhorns versus Texas A&M Aggies. I had gig 'em. Longhorns are better. I've had it all the way up and down. It is our last segment here for Sweep the League. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweet the League Radio.
So our spotlight segment is here right now. This is going to be our SEC talk, and it kind of sucks because, you know, we're trying to look, well, where's Coach Gio at? Gio and his Georgia Bulldogs. Don't worry, guys. I've given Coach Gio a lot of crap already, telling him that Georgia is going to be the second best team in the SEC behind one Texas Longhorn squad. Now, going into the SEC for the first year for Texas and also Oklahoma. Let's not forget Oklahoma. Texas has the most talented roster of any SEC squad this season. From top to bottom, Texas is the team. Now, I have them probably, I think a lot of people in Vegas have them around the 10, 11 wins, if I'm not mistaken, which, I mean, for me, honestly, going over their schedule, and I remember talking to Coach Gio about it, there's two games in particular that I had to highlight. And we're going to go over the schedule real quick here for Texas. I mean, really, the Michigan game at Michigan when week 2, September 7th, that's the first concern that I have. But with the transition of Harbaugh to the NFL, J.J. McCarthy not there, Blake Corum not there, I think you're going to see a Michigan team where it's still going to be viable, but it's not going to be the same type of Michigan team that we've seen the past couple of years. I think Texas wins that game with no doubt. Really, then you're only looking to the 12th of October and the 19th. Those are the two games where I remember telling Gio, these are the two games where I'm kind of like wondering about. But where I give him the credit is obviously the 12th is against the Oklahoma Sooners, the Red River rivalry. I hate saying that because it sucks. But the Red River rivalry with Oklahoma, that's always that's a rivalry game. That's always a back and forth type game. Really don't know what goes on in that game. Anything can happen, as we've seen before. So again, that's kind of one of those games I don't know. I'm going to have to see how both teams are playing going into that game. But then right after that, after coming off a game like that, which is huge in its own. You come right back with Georgia. Now, Georgia does go to Austin, so that's a benefit for the Longhorns, in my opinion. Georgia is still going to be one of the teams to make it in the college football playoffs. In fact, I have Texas and Georgia making it into the college football playoff series. I think Georgia, again, very talented, going to have a really good squad, but I think this is a year that we see Georgia kind of come down just a little bit, just a very little bit. I think Georgia probably ends up having 2 losses on the year, where Texas, I could definitely see Texas having 2 losses, but when it's all said and done, I think Texas is still going to be number 1 in the SEC. Remember, there's no more divisions in the SEC. The top 2 teams play for the SEC championship. I feel it's going to be a Georgia-Texas SEC championship game. I do think Texas is going to end up winning, but from my opinion, again, like I've said from every show that I've done from day one, it depends on injury concerns. Obviously, injuries can, derail an entire season. We've seen that for every team at every level of competition. But for me, Texas and Georgia are the 2 top teams. A&M, on the other hand, I think they're probably going to finish just above 500. They're probably not going to be, they're not going to be at the bottom of the pack. They're not going to be at the top of the pack. They're going to be right in the middle. So for me, if I go into A&M's schedule, they have a pretty brutal schedule right now from what I'm remembering here. They start off in Notre Dame, tough game right there. I mean, they're playing Notre Dame. That's a tough game to start off with, McNeese, and then they got Florida in week 3. So the Florida game is kind of hit or miss for me, but right up there, I could definitely see a 2-1 start. Then they get into the thick of things. Now you're talking, LSU. You're talking Auburn and Texas to end the year. The Missouri game is always going to be tough. I mean, Missouri plays everybody tough. Then you have LSU. Right after Mississippi, you have LSU. You've got a really tough schedule for A&M, in my opinion. I think that they're going to, like I said, they got 3, 6, 9. I could definitely see 9-3 at best for the A&M Aggies. Again, kind of putting them right around that 4th, maybe 5th in the conference. Right now, the top 3 teams I have in the SEC are Texas, Georgia, and also, oh my God, my mind just went blank right now. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. My mic is going blank right now. But from what I see, Ole Miss, I'm sorry. Ole Miss is my 3rd team. Lane Kiffin's he's got a talent squad. He hit the transfer portal big time. So definitely right now I've got Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss as my top 3 teams in the SEC. Bama's going to be there. Obviously, LSU, those guys are going to definitely show up. And the SEC, JC is in here saying as at minimum a 10-win team. I wouldn't put it past 10 wins for the Aggies at all. I feel comfortable at the 9-win mark. Maybe give or take 1. So then, of course, giving them is 10, taking away is 8. So I have them at the 9-win mark. JC is what I have the A&M Aggies right now. I do have Texas at 1. Again, Texas 1, Georgia 2, Ole Miss 3 are my top 3 SEC teams this year. It's a noon game. We got Tim Gonzalez here. The game will be 2:30 kickoff against Oklahoma. Screw Mike Elko, of course. Tim's in here bringing it all. Won't last in Aggie land. And pledges in here. Can Connor Wiggins stay healthy? That's the question for the Aggies. That is a massive question for the Aggies. But comfortably for me, A&M, 9 wins. I can definitely see 9 wins from A&M. But right now, the 2 teams I think getting into the college football playoffs, wouldn't shock me to see Ole Miss be the 2nd best team in the SEC. Wouldn't shock me at all to see that. It could be Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia. But for me, right now, it's Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss. Those 2 can flip-flop, or actually all 3 can flip-flop at any time. Those are the 3 teams that I'm watching going in to the college football series or college football season this year. We're going to get into more college football talk. Obviously, we have our local team, UTSA. We'll talk more about UTSA in the upcoming weeks. We'll talk about really there's not much other than, the other bigger conferences. So we'll give a little bit of breakdown on a couple other conferences. We'll get a couple of NCAA football guys in here as well to give y'all some breakdowns. But being that Texas is in the SEC now, along with Oklahoma, I have Texas, like I said, number 1. So that's my SEC football talk, and that's our college football talk for the day. Hey, don't worry, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. I definitely be back tomorrow. Derek Irvin is planning to be here tomorrow, so we can definitely talk some more NBA basketball tomorrow. We'll get Derek's takes on a lot of NBA stuff coming up with the NBA Finals coming up on Thursday, Game 1 between Dallas and Boston. Not only that, Wednesday, as of right now, we're scheduling Pledge. Obviously, ESPN Sports Star Pledge will be with us on Wednesday. We'll talk about everything with Pledge, anywhere from his Houston Texans, which I'm going to give him, 55 minutes of the show to talk about the Houston Texans and let him gloat and have him try to convince me again on air why Michael Penix at 8 made a whole lot of sense, because I'm not running out to buy my Michael Penix jersey, just FYI Pledge. So definitely not doing that just yet. I'm waiting to see what ends up happening. But hey, guys, we have 178 people on the live stream right now. Much love to everybody out there. This show continues to grow. This is only the 4th show back, all a part of the new network here, the Sweep the League Network. Also, we are a part of the Sports Insanity Network. Those guys are up north, up in the New York area. So again, we're being broadcast just about everywhere. When it comes to Sweep the League, we've made it up to the north side of the United States, which we love 100% of the time. Shout out to SiriusXM also as well, Rude Dog Show. We're getting some love out there as well. So love's coming in left and right. Again, appreciate everything that everybody's done for us. We cannot do this without you guys out there, without you guys' support. Sweep the League is nothing. This is all for you guys. This is a show by the people, for the people. So we're already accomplishing here. Until we Sweep the League again tomorrow, we will see you guys later. Definitely. Oh yeah, we'll be back later. See you guys tomorrow.